There's no such thing as a perfect video, but every time I do make a video, I try and make it better than the last one. The biggest part about improving is making mistakes and then learning from them. Here are a few things that you might be doing wrong and might want to watch out for in your cinematic videos, and how to improve them. It's really easy when we have great ideas to have the urge to share as much as possible and include as much dialogue and speak about every single tiny detail of what we want to tell. But the reality is that isn't the best way to inform your viewer about what's going on in your videos. Take this walk, for example. I could have told you, hey, I've just walked onto this field and gone for a little walk with my dog, but that isn't really the best way of telling you what's going on. Instead, I could do this. And I definitely know which one is more entertaining and interesting to watch, and if it's done well, it can be just as informative, if not even more. Some things you don't have to say, you can paint them with your visuals. So make sure that you're showing rather than telling. It's way more interesting. If you're anything like me, you've been in a situation just like this one. You've just finished editing your video, you're watching it through a few times, but there's just something that's not quite right. I've found in my experience that a lot of the time is that I haven't chosen the right music, or the music doesn't fit with the story that I'm trying to tell. You've probably heard other filmmakers mention that sound is half of the viewing experience, and it really is. Imagine seeing something in a video that you know has a very distinct sound. It's almost second nature, it just makes sense. But then you watch a video and you see the action, but you don't get the sound. How jarring and off-putting that is. That's why sound effects are so important in your videos. In fact, I'd argue that music and sound effects are more important than 50% of your video, because they are really what ties together a whole film. It brings the visuals, it brings that sound experience, and it also brings in any other effects and just merges them all into one. Without the right music and sound effects, your video just isn't going to be as good. Choosing a song that has the right tempo and mood for the video and the story, the idea that you're trying to tell, is absolutely essential. If it's slightly off, then it's going to be a little bit off-putting for the viewer, and you won't necessarily get across the emotion that you're trying to portray in your video or your story. I use Artlist for all of my music and sound effects in all of my videos, and they have an amazing library of music from every type of different genre and sound effects from basically anything you can imagine. Now, this video isn't sponsored by them and they haven't told me or paid me to say any of this, but I am an Artlist affiliate, so if you are interested in checking out Artlist, you can sign up with my link down in the description and you'll get 2 months free off a 1-year plan. It's a pretty good deal, and I absolutely love what they do. 100% genuine recommendation. One of the easiest mistakes to make when you're going out to film your videos is just shooting at the wrong time of day. A little bit of patience or an early morning can massively change how your film looks. I personally prefer to shoot at sunrise and sunset because the light is that much softer, it's lower, and you can get an amazing orange glow that lights up the sky and adds something to your video. Morning and evening light just has that special look that gives your video that extra something. For me, it's completely invaluable. Of course, there is a time and place for shooting in the middle of the day, but you do need to be careful of those very harsh shadows that can make your characters look really odd and loads of eye bags because the sun is coming directly from above. So I'd recommend using quite a lot of diffusion or shooting in the shadows if you're going to shoot in the middle of the day to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and just more inviting. Of course, your other option is shooting at night, and that comes with its own set of challenges. Filming at night is all about finding good lighting for your videos and kind of natural lighting, because if you're filming with a big old softbox in the middle of the street, it just doesn't look very natural. So you've got to find ways of making it look real, but having enough light so that you don't have to massively boost the ISO on your camera and it looks all grainy and horrible. So choosing the appropriate time of day for whatever you're going to shoot is absolutely essential to get that nice cinematic look in your videos. Okay, now on to a little editing thing. When you start out making your videos, there can be a big temptation to add in loads of cool transitions, glitch transitions, whip pans, fake zoom effects, and loads of other random stuff. And these are fine in moderation and with the right project, but too many of them will completely distract from the point of your video and just won't look very good. I have a rule of thumb that anything in my videos needs to make sure it's adding value to the final product and has to add something for the viewer. If it's not adding anything, then it won't make the cut, because there's no point adding stuff just for the sake of adding stuff. Simple storytelling is often the most effective, and so rather than throwing in loads of crazy transitions, effects, lens flares, whatever you want to call it, I recommend you focus on improving your compositions and your storytelling and coming up with some interesting creative shots rather than adding in a weird lens flare or a whip transition. One of the most difficult decisions when it comes to filmmaking and making your videos is deciding how you want every shot to look. And with the ever-growing vast expanse of gimbals and sliders that's being launched and cheaper options, they've become more accessible for everyone. Because of this, it can be really tempting to pick up a gimbal and then suddenly start using it for every single one of your shots, and it's the only thing that you do. You just add in crazy camera movement to every shot, and it can get a little bit tiring, and it won't necessarily be the best option for the story you're trying to tell. Once again, adding camera movement is absolutely fine, but it has to be intentional and add something to your story. There's no point having the camera movement if it's not adding something to the final product. And hey, I'm gonna say it, you should try a tripod shot every once in a while. Locked off shots can be so effective, especially because we're so used to seeing so many moving shots nowadays. Adding in a stationary shot can really help your viewers take in a scene, appreciate what's in it, and really set the tone and mood, especially if you're trying to set a slower mood. It can really help set that. I really enjoy using locked off shots, mainly because a lot of the time I'm filming by myself, and if I want to add movement, I can do later on in post. Tripods are excellent filmmaking tools and definitely shouldn't be overlooked. Alright, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you did learn something, and you know, we've all been there, we've all made mistakes, and this video is just intended to help you out. I've been there, I've made all of these mistakes, which is why I'm sharing them with you so that hopefully you can make them, or not so you can make them, so you don't have to make them and you can progress on your journey. If you did enjoy today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you did hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss any more of my videos. By the time this video is posted, I'm one exam away from finishing my A-levels, which is really, really exciting, and trust me when I say we've got some exciting stuff coming up this summer. And also, don't forget, if you do want to pick up that Artlist subscription, use my link down in the description and get your 2 months free. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys next week.